Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Sunday the 30th of May 2021. Today in Millwall news, next season's league is done and dusted. We know who we will be playing, and that's because today the League 1 playoff final concluded between Blackpool and Lincoln, and Blackpool won 2-1. And this is next season's league. So we were just waiting on a couple of teams, but of course Brentford won on Saturday. They got promoted, and so that means we'll be playing Swansea City next season. And here are the teams. You can see them on your screen: Barnsley, Birmingham City, Blackburn Rovers, Blackpool, Bournemouth, Bristol City, Cardiff City, Coventry City, Derby County, Fulham, Huddersfield Town, Hull City, Luton Town, Middlesbrough, Millwall, Nottingham Forest, Peterborough United, Preston North End, Queen's Park Rangers, Reading, Sheffield United, Stoke City, and Swansea City, and West Bromwich Albion. So those are the teams that we'll be facing next season. And like I said earlier, Blackpool getting up it's a nice day out. But even though they've been in the Premier League, they were a Premier League team. That's still quite a small team. As you saw when they got relegated from the Premier League, their finances fell apart and they went down into League One, which a lot of teams that are run poorly, they do quite often when they get relegated from the Premier League. They're just in free fall and they collapse down into the League One, so the third division. So Blackpool are up, they're a pretty small team. Swansea stay down. Brentford go up, which is just a shame. That's one less London game. I think so. It means, so let's have a look at the where these teams are. We know the names, but let's have a little graphical look at where they are in the country. And here you can see on the right hand side, so there's only 3 London teams and we're one of them. So we only got 2 London derbies, both in West London, Fulham, QPR, and it's pretty much a Midlands and Northern League next year. You got teams in Lancashire, Yorkshire, West Midlands. You got the two Welsh teams in the league as well, and the one in the West Country and one on the South Coast. So in terms of teams that are in the southeast of the country, it's just Luton, Reading, Fulham, and Queen's Park Rangers. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's probably a bad thing in terms of travelling. Distance travelled, fans travelling, the cost of travelling to go to away games. But it might be good in terms of if you're maybe a Premier League quality player that's kind of just on the border between being a Premier League player and being a Championship player, and you have a family, or you live in south east of England, and you want to carry on playing at the highest level you can, there's not many options for you. So maybe if you want to travel, maybe you'll travel. But if you've got a young family and you want to see your kids, maybe you say, you know what, I'll go on loan to Millwall. I'll see what it's like, you know. So it might help us in terms of signing players that want to stay in southeast England, or maybe even like foreign players who want to come to London. If there's only three London clubs in the Championship, that might help us out. We'll see how it goes, but you can see there's a lot of travelling for the team and for the fans next season. Some decent away games, but yeah, and some big teams, some small teams, and once again, like I said in yesterday's video, we're pretty much in the middle. We're middling. We haven't even got the smallest ground anymore. So in terms, if I rank the teams in terms of their ground capacity, like before a number of seasons we will be in like the last 5, but you can see the teams that have a smaller grounds than us: Luton, Bournemouth, Peterborough, Blackpool, QPR, Fulham, all got smaller grounds than us. So there you go. Hull City getting promoted. They can be a big team on a day. Bristol City, I don't think they're going to get anywhere near the full stadium, because I think they're going to be awful. I think they're going to get relegated this season. So Coventry, of course, is supposed to be moving back to Coventry. I imagine that will help them. And they were mid-table. They smashed us in the last game of the season, 6-1. So you imagine that will help them even more. They could be up there competing for the playoffs. They got a young team, quite with a pace in it. So, and Gary Rowett did say he wanted to get in the average age of the squad down. And you see teams like Barnsley, Coventry, with their young, fast teams, could be ones to look out for. We'll see how it goes. I'm not afraid of this league. I'm not particularly hopeful. I know John Berylson's been putting a lot of money into the club in terms of facilities and that, and just keeping the club alive. But if we made a grand statement signing of a striker, I would be very, very optimistic going into the season. That, and like a proper striker, not like a Troy Parrott. Troy Parrott was a gamble at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to dig the club out, because they did try and sign Kiefer Moore, and you see what he did at Cardiff. So they're right identifying the right players, but it's just they don't want to come to Millwall for some reason, or maybe we're being outbid on wages, or what's happening. Maybe they don't think it's professional. Maybe they see the facilities that we have, and they see the facilities that the other teams have, and they think, the other teams seem bigger and better than Millwall. So maybe that's one of the reasons why they're improving the pitch at the Den, like complete overall undersoil eating and all that. And that's why they're building new facilities at the training ground as well. So hopefully that could bring better players in. But like I said, I'm not worried about the league next season. I'm not overly optimistic about the league next season. We'll just see how it goes. Hopefully all the stupid restrictions are gone and everything can go back to normal. But it seems there are vested interests who want to keep this thing going on, even though literally, I think they said just the other day, like half of all people in their 30s have been vaccinated already. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for June the 21st for what? And they're still talking about delaying it from then. Which is an absolute nonsense. So hopefully when the season starts, or even before then when pre-season starts, because I'm sure we'll be going to some non-league grounds, and they've had it tough as well. And hopefully some Mill fans can go to these games, pay tickets on admission, pay for your burgers, pay for your drinks, and help support these clubs like Welling and Dartford and wherever we go, Folkestone, Invicta, Chatham Town, wherever we go for pre-season. Hopefully we can help someone out. Maybe Dover Athletic, been there before, decent little ground. Canvey Island, maybe hopefully all the restrictions are gone and we can go into pre-season with some decent players, a statement signing as a striker, and fully fanned up for fully fans, away fans, home fans, 100%, no restrictions, no garbage, back to how it was, onwards and upwards. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to finish today's video with this interview, which is a couple of days old, but I just thought I didn't bring it up in a previous video, so I'm going to show you this. This is from Newsatden.co.uk. It's from Friday, I believe, and it's about Alex Mitchell, who's currently on loan at Bromley FC, and Bromley FC are actually in the playoffs. They beat I think it was Notts County at their home game yesterday, and they're now in the playoffs. So Alex Mitchell's season isn't done yet. He's got another playoff game to come. This is interview. We'll have a read of this, see how it goes. The Millwall defender on how he thought he had blown Bromley loan chance, working with Alan Dunn and Brian Webster, and his future. Alex Mitchell is having sleepless nights ahead of last weekend of the National League season. So this was, like I said, written on Friday. So it's in terms of written in the past. They don't know that Bromley actually won. Millwall centre-back Mitchell, 19, who is on loan at Bromley, who are in a 5-way tussle for the 2 remaining playoff spots. Altrincham did Bromley a favour on Tuesday evening by holding Eastleigh to a draw, but that was still enough for Eastleigh to go above Bromley into 8th. The Lions and South London neighbours need to beat Notts County on Saturday and hope 2 of the 3 teams above them drop points. Bromley are almost virtually out of contention for the top 7 in the 95th minute of their game at Aldershot last Saturday when the score was 2-2 before Joe Kizzy's dramatic last gasp winner. That leaves the Ravens 9th, level 1 points with Eastleigh in 8th, and Chesterfield in the last playoff spot. 2 off Wrexham in 6th and a point ahead of Halifax. It's quite funny, we played Aldershot last Saturday and I was rejected by their academy, Windsor Mitchell tells Newsatden. It's ironic, isn't it? Limbs were going round, I'll be honest, 95th minute they were knackered. Mitchell joined Bromley on loan in April and made his debut in senior professional football in a 2-1 away win at Chesterfield. In 8 games he has been on the losing side only once, the return match against the Spireites, and that's Chesterfield, and has helped them to 3 clean sheets. He was recruited after an injury to former Millwall centre-back Byron Webster, but Mitchell thought his chances of a loan move to Bromley were gone after an under-23 game in April. 23's football is brilliant up to a point, the 6'3" defender says. I'm not saying I'm too good for 23's football. I'm not saying anything like that, but for me as a physical player, I felt like I needed first team football. At the start of the season, I didn't ask for a loan, but was asking a little bit about it. Scott Fitzgerald always knew I was eager to go out on loan. I'll snap his hand off to go out on loan. I remember we played Birmingham and we lost 3-2 or 3-0. An absolute demolishing. Bromley were there watching. Former under-23 teammate Rob Strachan was telling me that they were looking for a centre-back, and I was like, well, that one's gone by. Why would they look for a centre-back that's conceded 3 goals? But luckily, Scott called me up and said, you're signing for Bromley tomorrow, so get yourself down there. It was a feeling of being wanted. They've watched you and want you in their team. It's weird, but great feeling. It's one measure of how well Mitchell has done that Bromley are in with a chance of the playoffs on the last day, despite the absence since the start of April of experienced Webster. They were 10th, 4 points off 7th, having played a game more when Webster was injured in a 0-0 draw against Stockport on April the 5th. Webster is one of 3 former Millwall players and League One playoff winners at the club, along with midfielder Liam Trotter and assistant manager Alan Dunn, though Dunn missed that 2010 final. Mitchell is grateful for their guidance and that of manager Andy Woodman. Webby and Trouts have been excellent with me, Mitchell said. Dunny, Roger Johnson, the gaffer, they've all been like father figures to me. They've been helping me out every step of the way. I cannot thank them enough for that. But even with all that now, before a game, I stay up thinking about the game. We've got Notts County on Saturday, which is possibly the biggest game in Bromley's history because it's potentially playoffs. And I'd be lying to you if I told you I've slept right. Like Saturday at Aldershot, it's just the pressure, but I love it. It's what I thrive off in football. If we get the 3 points, we still might not be able to get in it, but I do think a team will slip up. Hopefully we'll do the job. Dunn told No One Likes Us Talking podcast recently that one of Mitchell's main strengths is his attitude. Former Millwall captain Dunn recalled that after arriving back in South London at 1 AM after one game this season, as the rest of the squad started to make their way home, Mitchell stayed behind to help unload gear and equipment from the team bus. Dunn said the ethic is one of the reasons he thinks Mitchell has a chance of playing first team football for the Lions. That's the first time I've heard that, Mitchell says. I do remember it. I think it was Halifax away. That was a long trip. Credit where credit is due. They make a lot of well-attributed youngsters at Millwall. To be honest with you, there wasn't a chance. I wasn't going to help out. I've always done it. My dad would hurt me if I didn't help out. My mum would slap me around the neck or something. I would not be allowed to not help. It's just Millwall. They're great. You've got to give credit to the whole academy. Every single coach, sports scientist, physio scout, they've all got one aim: to make good people. Obviously, it's a football club. It's a result-based game. But one of the main attributes they want to develop in you is being a good person in your life. Credit where credit is due for that. Mitchell has another year on his first professional deal at Millwall. He wants more first-team football next season. Everything's up in the air with COVID, Mitchell adds. A lot of players have been released. A lot of clubs are getting older senior players who have been released from League One clubs and League Two. It's obviously a very saturated market at the moment. I'll talk to my agent about it because that's a problem. Bromley have been as good as gold. Every day I'm going in, I'm loved it. It's a great club. Andy Woodman, the gaffer, has been unreal with me. He's one of the reasons why I'm doing well, losing just one game. next year I'll keep working as hard as I can, and whatever happens. Really, hopefully I'll be playing in the first team somewhere, wherever that will be. So another thing to point out, what he said there about the League One and League Two clubs, is even though they managed to stave off the salary cap that was being imposed on them by the EFL, to try and save them from themselves in terms of flagrant spending, they did actually impose squad limits, and it's something ridiculous, like 22 players they're only allowed, which is insane. It's absolutely insane when you think 46 game season, playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, FA Cup games. They got the Johnson Paint Trophy thing, or whatever it's called now. I don't even know what it's called now. Is it called now? Oh, I can't even remember. So they've got that, and they've got to play all these games, and they're only allowed 22 players. Absolute insanity. So, like I said, they're a lot of players have been released from League One and League Two clubs because of that reason, and it's having a knock-on effect now. And like he wants to go out and play football on loan, seems, because he's enjoying it at Bromley, but that might not be a possibility with all these players being signed up who've been released. So it's having a knock-on effect on him. Well, what it might do, but there you go. I just wanted to share this interview because I Friday and Saturday I didn't, and while it's still fresh, although it's a little bit late because Bromley did win. Bromley are in the playoffs. It's not like the EFL playoffs where you've got 2 semi-finals. I think you actually have to play in. So it's like 7 versus 6, and then 6 versus, and then the winner of that plays the 5th team, and then the winner of that plays the 4th team, and then the last 2 standing play off against each other, or something like that. It's not the same format as the EFL playoffs, but Alex Mitchell's season continues for at least 1 game, and we'll see how he gets on next week. So, and I don't know if they're home or away, but if they're at home, you want to go down there, you probably can go down to Bromley FC's grounds at Hayes Lane and watch him and the rest of the team. If you want to watch football in June, it will be then. So June. Maybe while you're watching the Euros on the TV. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.